Hey guys, this is your boy Kimi, and this is Kimi's Tea of the Day. So, after watching When They See Us, I just knew I had to really dig deep into it and really just give my opinion, of course, and just state some facts and what needs to really change and with law enforcement and the whole justice system. Period. Because how can you convict 5 people of a crime that there's no evidence of them doing it? I just don't understand. So let's just dig deep into it. So, in my opinion, When They See Us is an amazing docu series, and it really dug deep into what we needed to know. Because I wasn't fully familiar with the whole the Central Park Five. But with seeing this and then going back and looking at everything and doing my homework, it's like it was a lot. And in my opinion, Miss Linda Fairstein wanted to come up. Or she might have unfortunately been raped herself. I don't know. But she was very angry and she wanted to pin it on someone. Because, Miss Trisha Miley was the jogger who unfortunately got beaten and raped. But this was not the first jogger in that time period who got beaten and raped. So you do all of this stuff, you collect these 5 gentlemen, along with other people who were in Central Park, which all happen to be black and Hispanic men, to say the least. But you bring all of these people to the police station to question them about what they was doing there, because you got a few calls about them playing around with people or just being kids, nothing serious. But as soon as you get a call about a woman being raped later, then you ask them about a lady, knowing damn well that they wasn't even close to where the lady got raped or dragged or anything like that. But you decided to throw pennies on these kids. And mind you, they're all kids. One was tried as an adult, which is unfortunate, but for the most part, they were all kids. So you're questioning them without their parents or legal guardian. You're questioning them for up to 7 hours, each person, just trying to get a confession out of them because you know that there's no case. But Miss Linda, she needed someone to pretty much pin this on, because she just came to the district and all that stuff, so she wanted to make a change and all this great stuff that she thought she was doing. And to this day, it's unfortunate that she still feel like she did the right thing. Now let's get into this. So you have Raymond, you have Antoine, you have Kevin, you have Yusuf, and you have Corey. And the only one who you could try as an adult was Corey. So everyone else served up to 6 to 7 years for a crime that they did not commit, for evidence of DNA that did not match theirs at all. And in court, you see that none of the DNA matched. The semen, specimen, the blood, all that stuff that you can, get DNA off of, none of them matched the 5 guys. So then how do we still make a conviction if none of these match the 5 guys? Make sense to me. Because I'm not understanding how a whole jury can come to a unanimous conviction off of something that is circumstantial and is not even right or true, because there's no evidence. So you convict these 5 guys and you destroy their lives, you destroy their families' lives, just because y'all wanted to not dig deep and actually, test the DNA on other DNAs that was already in your system. That would have been the smartest thing to do. But y'all dumbasses didn't do that. But because y'all just wanted these 5 people. So you made all these 5 gentlemen confess. You coerced their confessions. Some of them you actually, like for Yusuf, you actually try to bring him to the crime scene and throw them inside of the crime scene so they can have evidence for you to collect, saying that they was there. So, but this is, the law enforcement that we're upholding, unfortunately. Like, who does that? So you really wanted these 5 people to be convicted that bad for you to go through all these lengths and have to lie to all of these people just for them to go to jail, to destroy these people's lives. So Raymond, Antoine, and Kevin did 6 years in juvie. Yusuf did 6 years in juvie and 1 year in prison. Because it all was pretty much, for 4 of them, there was, they did, the 6-7 years, so they was 21 when they aged out. And Corey did 13 fucking years in prison. And most of that was in solitary confinement because he was not safe. Because people felt like he was a star, people was jealous, there was a lot of things that, people did. And then him, obviously at that time not being all there, and you knew that, and he was such a little boy, you can imagine everything else that happened in jail that they didn't even show on when they see us. He was beaten, he was raped, he almost died twice in jail. But, like, how can we get these kids' childhood back? And then, after, you basically, finding out that Mr. Mateus Reyes, who was a social serial rapist and murderer, after you find out that, it was him, 13 years later, now you have to exonerate all of them and get them all out of jail, whoever was left in jail. But their apologies come years later, the settlement comes years later. There was really no public apology, but you can't even apologize for that. There's nothing you can say to me that's gonna be like, you know what? I forgive you for fucking up my whole life. I forgive you for taking away my childhood. And for Corey, he's innocent. I feel like the parents should definitely go to jail. Something should have happened to the parents. Something should have happened to the officers who basically pinned this rape on these 5 young men without doing your homework. All of these people need to pay. So let me get to a settlement of $41 million. That's not enough. Like, that's not I'm sorry. Like, there's no amount of money that can redo what I just went through. No amount of money. And in my opinion, I thought, before ending it, Corey was gonna unfortunately be like another Kalief Browder. Because, like, you're putting these boys back out into society without giving them the tools to be back out in society. That's why Raymond got locked back up. Because he was not, he couldn't acclimate himself back into society. Because when you went in, you was a kid, now you're a grown-ass man. Missing all this stuff and trying to support your family or this and the third, trying to make a living. And then knowing that all of these stipulations that they have, you can't be around someone who's a felon. So if you and the felon are working on the same shift, y'all both can go back. And then, not even, going into the people that actually want to hire a felon or a sex offender or this and the third, or just dealing with your love life, because then you're always going to be looked at as someone who potentially raped this person or raped this person or X, Y, and Z. Like, come on. There's no amount of money that can repay that. Like, I'm happy that, Corey got the most money, as he should, because he was the oldest and he went through the most of stuff that happened to him. Like him losing his trans sister, like, that was hard. And then how, the mother, like, that was so real to me. Like, how the mother reacted and how the mother just had this disgust of his son turning into who she's supposed to be. Like, that was a real moment for me. Like, that was completely needed. Like, the whole movie was so well thought out. And the funny thing is, like, Miss Linda, she was asked if she wanted to be part of it to tell her story by Ava DuVernay. And she decided not to. So then when her story comes out, then you feel the type of way. How? How do you feel the type of way when I gave you the opportunity to tell your side? But you didn't want to. And now, Miss Linda, she's been dropped from a few things. Because, she wrote a few books after this. After, these boys was convicted, she was a superstar, wasn't she? She got dropped from her book deals. So they ripped her books off the shelf. She also was working with Victims Resource Group of Safe Horizons. Basically, helping kids who was, I'm assuming, wrongfully convicted. Yeah, you just convicted these 5 men, but now you get a job afterwards. Helping wrongfully convicted kids. Make that make sense, because I don't get it. Yet you still, to this day, feel like you was right in every action that you did. With the coercing, with having your police officers basically beat them. Because Antoine was even beat before he even got to the police station. But no one questioned that at all. And she was also working at Advisors College. And she was also dropped from that. So this is definitely karma for her, but she needs more. But unfortunately, the statute of limitation is what that is. So we can't get more justice, but we can change our jails, we can change our prisons, we can change our justice system through these stories that come out. We have the power, and we need to start using our power, because this doesn't make any sense for these 5 guys to be wrongfully convicted, and then Mataeus Reyes decides to have a coming to Jesus moment after, him already being convicted of life in prison. Now, letting the world know, hey, it was me. No, this was me. And giving them DNA samples, and then, oh, you know what? We already had your DNA. Our dumbasses just decided not to look for it because we wanted these 5 gentlemen to be those people. Who does this? Because we could have easily checked everyone's DNA in the system to see if we had a match. Because, Mataeus, his DNA's been there for a while. Because he was getting around with this rapes and these murders that he was doing. But, and since it was, the statute of limitation, he was never prosecuted for Miss Trisha. For her rape and almost murder. He was never convicted for that. Because, he decided to speak up way too late after having Corey basically do his 13 years in prison. With all the rapes that he had to deal with, and getting into fights, and being, in solitary, going crazy. Like, this story is definitely an eye-opener. And let's look at Miss Trisha. Miss Trisha, this, investment banker, which is, good. She was young and everything like that. She was going for her normal jog. And unfortunately, Mr. Mataeus decided to, knock her and then do what he wanted to do with her while she was trying to fight back. And then, leave his semen residue everywhere. And then her coming right out of a coma, which she was in a coma for, a little while, I think 12 days, and we wasn't sure if she was going to actually, make it. But she ended up making it, and then you end up putting her in this court case, in my opinion, for pity, because she doesn't even remember who was there. Let alone, I'm quite sure she didn't remember 5 guys being there. I'm quite sure she remembered 1 guy being there, but she couldn't, I'm quite sure, pinpoint it, because it was that type of, unfortunate incident. So you're bringing her there for pity, in my opinion, because you know that by showing a victim in that state, you're going to get the jury's opinion, like, oh my gosh, look at her. These guys had to have done it. Look at her. Even though we know that there's no DNA evidence, and all the lawyers asked my client, there was no DNA there for him. No, none of the DNA matched for any of the 5 guys on the stand. And us knowing this, and us knowing some people getting beat, or all of their statements was coerced, Yusuf didn't even make a statement. They coerced his written statement and handed it off in front of the DA. So the DA was already a part of this. And so this was just friends helping friends try to, I guess, get, catapult all of their careers. And I hope that y'all all sit here and look how fucked up all y'all are. And poor Corey. Like, I feel sorry for him the worst. I think we all do. Like, we all feel sorry for all of them, because this should have never happened to any one of them. But Corey in particular, with him being, I would say, a little dyslexic, with him just wanted to help a friend. Like, he just wanted to be there for moral support of a friend, and got railroaded into this. All of these men, when they was being interviewed, there was the cops were saying, "Oh, Raymond, you know about Antoine? Yeah, Antoine. No, I don't know Antoine. Who is that? No, you have to say that you know him, and you have to say that he was with you. Really? But I don't know who he is. Do you want to go home, right? All of these men all of these kids just wanted to go home. So you helped them, quote unquote, go home, which damn well you're never gonna let a rapist home, by coercing all of the statements, making it seem like, okay, I was there, yep, he was there too, and then there's having all of these men, or men now, but young boys at the time, basically, state where they was, or what action they partook in, to make it seem like, they all was involved in this rape and attack. And that's not true, because none of them was involved, none of them was even there. Where they was in the park is not even equivalent to where the rape and the attack happened. Especially when she was drugged into another location and there was blood marks. The kids was not there. So you trying to make it where the kids are there, and the kids are not even in that area. So how do you even come up with that? So now you have to change the whole timeline. You have to do all this stuff just to try to make this story stick. And the story still isn't sticking. It's sad. And then Corey. He was just there just to help a friend. And when Corey found out that the cops was looking, they were trying to find the cops were trying to find him. Like, Yusuf wanted to, just clear his name, just to try to figure out why they were looking for him, or what's going on. And Corey, decided to go for moral support, and ended up staying 13 years later. And then for Yusuf's mom, like, I understand that, unfortunately, the rule is felons can't speak to felons. But the parents have to have some type of, like, if I was Corey's mom, I would feel somewhat of a type of way. Not a full way, but somewhat of a type of way. Like, no, I can't take your kid, but I know that, Yusuf was all messed up. So he was out of it when, his mother found out where he was and got him out of there. But y'all left Corey there. At least from what we see from when they see us, you unfortunately left him there. And yeah, But then, going into it, I'm happy that they made up and there's no hard feelings because, there was all kids. And I hope that, they're, I guess the only good thing out of this, which isn't really a good thing, but you gain 5 brothers, which y'all all went through some life-changing things together. So at least you have someone to talk to when you need to talk to them, in a way. And then your couple trying to make Corey in jail just to try to, go get out on parole, which parole is bullshit to begin with. Parole is just a way for you to, do something stupid and then go back. And, there's levels to these things. So, like Raymond, I was looking at a Brad TV, interview with Raymond and Yusuf, and, it's predicate, it's something, it's like 3 different stages of basically a routine prison goer. Because the system is there to just roll you back in, because they know that if they're going to put you on parole, you're probably going to fuck up on your parole and do something stupid, and kind of take you right back. So, in my opinion, you should max out your time there. Just do your whole time that you have to do, because so you could actually be free, and you can actually have somewhat of a fighting chance in the society once you are released. So every time that, Corey was supposed to go off for parole, the first time, they were like, okay, so are you ready to admit to this crime? After I already said on stand, I did not do this. And the cops basically, on that stand, the cops even admitted, like, yeah, they didn't initially say that, but, we pretty much got them to say it. And they pretty much perjured themselves. But nothing happened to any of those cops, because the cops wasn't even on the same page. How did that even work? We're telling you on stand, like, yeah, not all of them, stated that, they raped this person, or that they were there, or eventually they said it, but they didn't say it at first. So you're supposed to go with what they say first. Because then everything after that, you coerced. You made them say it by scaring them, by, having their parents step out so you can torture them yourself or actually put hands on them. A lot of these boys was beat up right there so they can confess. And come on. And then when Kevin and Yusuf got out and they had to go through their anger management programs and they started in the third to try to, get back into society, and then you have, so are you going to admit to this crime? No. Then you're trying to get into a relationship, then them already knowing probably what they assume to be true until you're I guess cleared. And Donald Trump, you can't forget about him because he wanted to reinstate the death penalty for these 5 men. And this was him not even being in president at this time. This was him being what? Just a high-paid person, a public figure. But he wasn't really into politics. But he wanted these 5 people to die. But this is the person that y'all elected. I don't understand. Like 41 million is not enough for pain or suffering. Or no one just say it. So I hope whoever hasn't seen it will see it. And I hope that Miss Linda, I hope you're really, I hope you write a book. And this book be the truth. That you wanted to get up in this district attorney, area, and you wanted to make a name for yourself. So with this case, you decided to wrongfully commit 5 guys. Tell your story, but tell the truth. Because what you've been telling all these fucking years is not the truth. At all. And I would like you to, tell them how, you made the cops do this. You made the DA do this. You had all these people in your power doing your dirty work. But we don't saw you, boo-boo. We know. We see it. So if you want to write another book, if you want to, do that, I think you should. I think you should get on an interview, and I think you should tell your truth, the real truth, not the truth that you've been saying all these years now. Because I don't want that. We don't want that. We don't need that. And Miss Trisha, I think you need to talk to the doctors, the ones that you necessarily get help put in jail, but you didn't not help put them in jail, especially knowing that now, like, it wasn't them after all these years. Which, I'm quite sure that you came up with some type of, memory that it was only one person. So could have been 5 of them to begin with. But I think you need to reach out for your sanity and for theirs. Because they did this bid for a crime that they didn't commit towards you, and you don't even reach out. You have to do better. You can't throw these babies away. At all. No. And Mr. Reyes. I just don't know what to say about the serial rapist that we all knew was a serial rapist, because this is what he did. But, he had life in prison. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but I guess he's getting his karma, but everyone else in this situation needs to get theirs. We already know that, Antoine's father got his. Well, thank you for listening to Kimmy's Tea of the Day. And I'll see you next time.